It was just another Tuesday evening when everything changed. Alex had been looking forward to this dinner for days. He'd met Lisa through his cousin at a barbecue party last month, and after 2 coffee dates that went surprisingly well, he finally worked up the courage to ask her to a proper dinner. The restaurant was perfect. Not too fancy, not too casual. Just a cozy Italian place downtown with warm lighting and the kind of atmosphere that made conversations flow easily. Alex arrived, 5 minutes early, nervously adjusting his shirt and checking his breath for the 3rd time. He'd chosen his outfit carefully. A simple blue button-down shirt, dark jeans, and his favorite cologne that he'd been using for years. When Lisa walked in, she looked stunning. Her smile lit up the room as she spotted him at their corner table. They hugged hello, and Alex caught a hint of her perfume, something floral and light that suited her perfectly. The evening started wonderfully. They talked about work, their hobbies, funny stories from their childhoods. Lisa was a graphic designer with a passion for photography, and she had this way of describing things that made even ordinary moments sound interesting. Alex found himself relaxing more with each passing minute. They ordered their food. Lisa chose the pasta with mushroom sauce, while Alex went for the classic spaghetti and meatballs. As they waited for their meals, they shared an appetizer of garlic bread, laughing about how they'd both smell like garlic afterward. "At least we'll match," Lisa had joked, and Alex felt that familiar flutter in his stomach that told him he was really starting to like this girl. The conversation flowed effortlessly. They discovered they both loved hiking, had terrible cooking skills, and shared an odd fascination with true crime documentaries. Lisa had this infectious laugh that made Alex want to keep telling jokes just to hear it again. When their main courses arrived, they were deep in a discussion about their worst travel experiences. Lisa was telling him about getting lost in a small town in Europe when the GPS on her phone died, and how she ended up spending the best day of her trip talking to locals who didn't speak much English. It was during dessert that everything took an unexpected turn. They were sharing a slice of tiramisu, taking turns with their spoons and debating whether coffee-flavored desserts actually counted as caffeinated drinks. Lisa was leaning forward, animated as she made her point about the scientific properties of cocoa, when she suddenly stopped mid-sentence. She paused, looking at him with an expression Alex couldn't quite read. It wasn't confusion exactly, but more like curiosity, discovery. "This might sound weird," she said, tilting her head slightly, "but you smell really good." Alex smiled. "Thanks, it's just some cologne I picked up at the store. Nothing special." But Lisa shook her head, leaning just a little closer across the table. "No, it's not the cologne. I mean, that's nice too, but there's something else. Something natural." She took what seemed like a deliberate breath, and Alex noticed her eyes widen slightly. "I know this sounds crazy," she continued, "but you have this scent that's just, I don't know how to describe it. It's like addictive? Is that weird to say?" Alex felt his cheeks warm. He'd received compliments before, but nothing quite like this. "Addictive? I have a really sensitive sense of smell," Lisa explained, looking slightly embarrassed. "Always have since I was little. My mom used to joke that I should become a perfumer or something, but seriously, there's something about the way you smell that's just incredible." She laughed nervously, tucking a strand of hair behind her ear. "I'm probably making you uncomfortable. Sorry, I've never experienced anything quite like this before." Alex wasn't uncomfortable exactly. He was more puzzled than anything else. He'd showered that morning with his usual soap, used his regular deodorant, and sprayed on the same cologne he'd been wearing for years. Nothing out of the ordinary. "What does it smell like?" he asked, genuinely curious. Lisa closed her eyes for a moment, as if trying to capture the essence in words. "It's warm, clean, but not like soap clean. More like sunshine on fresh laundry, but with something deeper underneath. Something that just makes me want to." She opened her eyes and blushed. "This is so embarrassing." "No, it's not," Alex assured her, though he was fascinated by her description. "I've never really thought about how I smell to other people." Most people don't have much of a natural scent, Lisa continued. I mean, they do, but it's usually masked by products or just not very distinctive. But it's like you have your own signature. As they finished dessert and asked for the check, Alex noticed that Lisa seemed to find excuses to lean closer. When she reached for her water glass, when she showed him a photo on her phone, when she gestured while telling a story, each time, she seemed to position herself just a little nearer to him. Walking to their cars after dinner, Lisa slipped her arm through his as they strolled down the sidewalk. It felt natural, comfortable, but Alex also noticed how she seemed to breathe a little deeper when she was close to him. I had a really wonderful time tonight, she said as they reached her car. Me too, Alex replied, meaning it completely. They stood there for a moment, that awkward but sweet pause that happens at the end of a good date. Lisa stepped closer for a goodbye hug, and Alex felt her linger just a bit longer than usual, her face near his neck. Same time next week? She asked, looking up at him with those bright eyes. Absolutely, Alex said, already looking forward to it. As he drove home, Alex found himself thinking about Lisa's comments. He'd never considered that he might have a distinctive scent, let alone one that someone would find appealing. It was flattering, certainly, but also intriguing in a way he couldn't quite explain. He wondered if this was just Lisa being Lisa, observant, artistic, someone who noticed details that others might miss, or if there was something more to it. Either way, he was definitely interested in finding out. That night, as he got ready for bed, Alex found himself paying more attention to his routine. The soap he used, the deodorant, even the laundry detergent, on his sheets. Everything seemed perfectly ordinary to him, but apparently, the combination created something that Lisa found irresistible. He smiled to himself as he turned off the lights. Whatever it was, he hoped it would last at least until their next date. 3 weeks had passed since that dinner at the Italian restaurant, and Alex was starting to notice something. At first, he thought he was imagining things, but the signs were becoming too obvious to ignore. It started small. During their next movie date, Lisa had chosen seats toward the back of the theater. Nothing unusual there. Lots of people preferred the back rows. But about halfway through the film, she rested her head on his shoulder. Again, perfectly normal couple behavior. What struck him as odd was how she seemed to nestle in, almost like she was trying to get as close as possible to his neck area. At first, Alex found it sweet. He liked that Lisa felt comfortable enough to be physically close to him. But then, he noticed her breathing pattern. It wasn't the steady, relaxed breathing of someone watching a movie. It was deeper, more deliberate, like she was actively taking in his scent. After the movie, as they walked to get ice cream, Lisa linked her arm through his and walked unusually close. So close that other people on the sidewalk had to step around them. When Alex gently tried to create a bit more space so they could walk normally, Lisa seemed to unconsciously drift back toward him. You smell so good tonight, she mentioned casually as they sat eating their ice cream. Did you use a different soap or something? Alex shook his head. Same as always, just my regular stuff. Lisa said, taking another spoonful of her vanilla cone. It's just, I don't know. You always smell amazing, but tonight it seems even stronger. The following week, they met for coffee at their usual spot downtown. Lisa arrived a few minutes after Alex and immediately came over for a hug. But instead of the quick, casual hug they usually shared, she held on longer, much longer, long enough that Alex started to feel a bit awkward about it. I missed you, she said, her face pressed against his chest. I missed how you smell. That was the first time she'd directly mentioned missing his scent specifically, and it caught Alex off guard. They'd only seen each other 4 days ago. It seemed like an odd thing to miss about someone after such a short time apart. During their coffee date, Lisa kept reaching across the table to touch his hand, his arm, always finding excuses to get closer. When they shared a blueberry muffin, she made sure to sit on the same side of the table instead of across from him. This is cozy, she said, pressing close to his side. Alex noticed her taking small, deep breaths when she thought he wasn't looking. The Real turning point came when Lisa asked if she could borrow his jacket. It was a warm evening, definitely not jacket weather, but she claimed she was feeling cold. Alex handed over his light denim jacket without thinking much of it. "Thanks," Lisa said, immediately putting it on and pulling it close around herself. "It smells just like you." She wore his jacket for the rest of the evening, even though they were walking around outside in 75-degree weather. When it was time to say goodbye, Alex expected her to return it. "Could I maybe keep this for tonight?" Lisa asked, looking almost embarrassed. "I know it sounds silly, but it's really comforting. I'll give it back next time I see you." Alex agreed, though he found the request a bit unusual. It was just a jacket after all, but Lisa didn't give it back the next time they met, or the time after that. When Alex finally asked about it, she looked genuinely disappointed. "Oh right, your jacket." She seemed reluctant to part with it. "It's just, I've been wearing it to bed sometimes. It helps me sleep better." "Is that weird?" It was definitely getting into weird territory, but Alex didn't want to hurt her feelings. Lisa was sweet, funny, and he enjoyed spending time with her. If wearing his jacket made her happy, what was the harm? Things escalated when Lisa started showing up at his apartment unannounced. The first time, she claimed she was in the neighborhood and thought she'd surprise him. Alex was happy to see her, and they spent a nice evening watching TV and ordering takeout. But then it happened again, and again, always with the same explanation. She was in the area and decided to drop by. The thing was, Alex lived 15 minutes out of the way from anywhere Lisa regularly went. During one of these surprise visits, Alex excused himself to use the bathroom. When he came back, he found Lisa sitting on his couch with one of his pillows pressed against her face. "Sorry," she said quickly, putting the pillow down. It smells like your fabric softener. What brand do you use?" "Just whatever's on sale," Alex replied, sitting back down. "Why?" "I want to get some for my place. I love how fresh your stuff always smells." Lisa started asking more questions about his daily routine. What kind of soap did he use? What about shampoo, deodorant, even what laundry detergent he preferred? She claimed she wanted to upgrade her own products and trusted his taste. "You always smell so clean and natural," she explained. "Not like those guys who drown themselves in cologne. There's something about your natural scent that's just perfect." She began suggesting they spend more time at his place instead of going out. When Alex suggested they try that new restaurant downtown, Lisa would counter with, "Or we could just order pizza and watch Netflix at your place. It's so much more comfortable there." His apartment was comfortable, but it wasn't significantly more comfortable than anywhere else they usually went. Alex started to suspect that Lisa preferred his place because it was filled with his scent. The most telling moment came when they were lying on his couch watching a documentary. Lisa was curled up next to him, her head on his chest. Alex thought she'd fallen asleep until he realized she was awake and seemed to be breathing deeply and deliberately. "Are you okay?" he asked softly. "Mm-hmm," Lisa murmured without moving. "Just relaxing. You're like a human stress ball." "A stress ball? You know how some people have comfort foods or comfort movies?" Lisa lifted her head to look at him. "You're like my comfort person. Everything about being close to you just makes me feel calm, safe." It was a sweet sentiment, and Alex was touched by it. But he was also starting to realize that Lisa's attraction to him might be more complex than he'd initially thought. The constant comments about his scent, the way she always seemed to be breathing him in, her preference for staying at his place, it was all starting to form a pattern. Alex cared about Lisa, but he was beginning to wonder if her feelings for him were about him as a person, or something else entirely. Something that maybe even she didn't fully understand yet. The situation with Lisa was becoming impossible to ignore. What had started as flattering comments about Alex's scent was turning into something that made him genuinely uncomfortable, especially in public settings. The first time Alex really noticed how obvious Lisa's behavior had become was at his friend David's birthday party. They'd been dating for about 2 months by then, and Alex was excited to introduce Lisa to his close group of friends. He wanted them to like her, and he was sure they would. Lisa was charming, funny, and easy to talk to. The party was at David's house, a casual backyard gathering with about 20 people. Alex introduced Lisa around, and everyone seemed to warm up to her immediately. She fit right into conversations about work, movies, and weekend plans. Everything was going perfectly. Then Alex noticed the sniffing. It started when they were standing in a circle with David and a few other friends, talking about their plans for the upcoming long weekend. Lisa was standing next to Alex, which was normal. What wasn't normal was how she kept moving closer and closer to him throughout the conversation. At first, she was standing beside him like any normal couple would, but gradually she shifted until she was almost behind him, her chest pressed against his back. When Alex took a small step forward to give them both more space, Lisa moved with him. Then came the subtle but unmistakable head movements. Every few minutes, Lisa would lean forward slightly, her face near the back of his neck, and take what was clearly a deliberate breath. She was being discreet about it, but not discreet enough. Alex caught David giving them a puzzled look. His friend's eyebrows were raised in a way that clearly said, "What's your girlfriend doing back there?" "Hey, want to grab some drinks?" Alex suggested, hoping to break up whatever Lisa was doing. As they walked toward the kitchen, Lisa kept her hand on his back, sometimes letting it drift up toward his neck and shoulders. In the kitchen, while Alex was getting them both beers from the cooler, Lisa stood unusually close behind him. "You smell so good tonight," she whispered in his ear. "Different from usual. What did you do?" Alex had taken a shower and gotten dressed like he always did. Nothing was different. "Nothing special," he said, handing her a beer and trying to create some distance between them. But Lisa closed the gap immediately, standing close enough that other people had to squeeze around them to get to the drinks. Back outside, the pattern continued. During every conversation, Lisa would gradually migrate until she was positioned behind Alex or pressed against his side. She found excuses to touch his back, his shoulders, his arms. And always, there were those small moments where she would lean in and breathe deeply. The worst part was that other people were starting to notice. Alex caught several friends exchanging glances. His friend Monica raised her eyebrows at him when Lisa spent a full minute standing behind him, with her face practically buried in his shoulder blade. When Alex tried to sit down in one of the patio chairs, Lisa immediately claimed the chair right next to him, scooting it so close that they were practically sharing the same space. She spent the rest of the evening with her hand resting on his leg or his back, occasionally leaning over to whisper things in his ear that seemed designed more to get close to him than to actually communicate anything important. The breaking point came when David was telling a funny story about their college days. Everyone was laughing and focused on David except Lisa. Alex became aware that she had shifted in her chair and was now facing him instead of David. She wasn't listening to the story at all. She was just openly smelling him. Her eyes were closed, and she had this expression of pure contentment on her face as she breathed in his scent. It lasted for maybe 10 seconds, but it felt like an eternity to Alex. When she opened her eyes, she found him staring at her with confusion and embarrassment. "What?" she whispered, looking genuinely puzzled by his reaction. "Never mind," Alex whispered back, turning his attention back to David's story. But the damage was done. Alex spent the rest of the party hyper-aware of Lisa's every movement, every breath, every time she leaned close to him. He found himself making excuses to get up, to move around, to put some space between them. But Lisa seemed to interpret this as an invitation to follow him around. On the drive home, Lisa was unusually quiet. "Did you have fun?" Alex asked, trying to keep his tone normal. "Yeah, your friends are great," she said, "but I could tell you were tense all evening. Is everything okay?" Alex wasn't sure how to answer that. He didn't want to hurt Lisa's feelings, but he also couldn't pretend that nothing had happened. "I just felt like we were a little too close tonight," he said carefully. "In public, I mean." Lisa was quiet for a moment. "Too close?" "I mean, I love being close to you," Alex said quickly. But when we're with other people, maybe we could keep some personal space. I wasn't doing anything wrong, Lisa said, and Alex could hear the defensiveness in her voice. I was just being affectionate. I know, but other couples are affectionate in public all the time, Lisa continued. I don't understand what the problem is. Alex didn't know how to explain that what she was doing felt different from normal couple affection. How could he tell her that he'd noticed her sniffing him without sounding crazy himself? The tension between them continued over the next few days. Lisa started showing up at his apartment even more frequently, often without calling first. She would arrive and immediately want to cuddle on the couch, always positioning herself so that her face was near his neck or chest. I missed your scent, she would say, as if that explained everything. Alex began to dread those words. I missed your scent. Not I missed you. Not I missed talking to you or I missed being with you. Always specifically about his scent. The final straw came when Alex was invited to his company's annual summer picnic. It was an important event. His boss would be there, along with several clients and potential business partners. Alex had been looking forward to it for weeks, and he'd asked Lisa to come as his guest. The picnic was held at a nice park with catered food, lawn games, and a relaxed atmosphere. Alex introduced Lisa to his colleagues, including his boss, Rachel, who made a point of saying how nice it was to meet her. For the first hour, everything went well. Lisa was charming and professional, making good conversation with everyone they met. Alex started to relax, thinking that maybe his concerns about her behavior had been overblown. Then they joined a group that included Rachel and two important clients. Alex was in the middle of discussing a recent project when he felt Lisa move behind him. At first, he thought she was just trying to get a better angle to join the conversation, but then he felt her hand on his back, then her face near his shoulder, then the unmistakable sensation of her breathing deeply near his neck. Alex tried to subtly step forward, but Lisa moved with him. He could see Rachel's expression change from polite interest to confusion to barely concealed alarm. One of the clients, a professional woman in her 50s, was staring at Lisa with undisguised shock. The conversation faltered. Alex felt his face burning with embarrassment as he realized that his girlfriend was openly sniffing him in front of his boss and clients. There was no way to pretend it wasn't happening, no way to explain it away as normal couple behavior. Excuse me for just a moment, Rachel said, and Alex could tell she was trying to escape the awkward situation. The clients found their own reasons to wander away, leaving Alex and Lisa standing alone under the pavilion. Lisa, Alex said quietly, what were you doing? What do you mean? She asked. But there was something in her eyes that told him she knew exactly what he meant. You know what you were doing. Lisa's face flushed red. I wasn't doing anything. I was just standing close to you. But they both knew it was more than that. And Alex knew that something had to change, because this couldn't continue. Not if he wanted to maintain his professional relationships, his friendships, or his own peace of mind. As they drove home in silence, Alex realized he was going to have a conversation he'd been dreading. Because whatever was happening, with Lisa and her fascination with his scent, it was affecting every aspect of their relationship and his life. Alex spent 3 days thinking about how to approach the conversation with Lisa. He knew it had to happen, but he also knew it was going to be one of the most difficult discussions he'd ever had with someone he cared about. How do you tell someone that their way of showing affection makes you uncomfortable without making them feel rejected? He decided to wait for a quiet evening when they were both relaxed and at his apartment. No distractions, no pressure, just the two of them talking, honestly about what was happening in their relationship. That Thursday evening, Lisa came over with takeout from their favorite Thai restaurant. She seemed to be in a good mood, chatting about her day at work and a funny conversation she'd had with her sister. Alex tried to enjoy the normalcy of it all, but he couldn't shake the nervousness in his stomach. After dinner, they settled on the couch to watch a movie. True to form, Lisa immediately cuddled up next to Alex, her head finding its usual spot against his chest. He could feel her breathing deeply, that familiar pattern he'd come to recognize. Lisa? Alex said softly. Can we talk about something? She lifted her head to look at him, and he could see the immediate concern in her eyes. That sounds serious. Is everything okay? Alex took a deep breath. I want to talk about us. About some things I've been noticing. What kind of things? Lisa sat up a little, but she didn't move away from him. Well, I've noticed that you seem really focused on how I smell. And I mean really focused. Lisa's face immediately turned red. What? Do you mean, like at the company picnic last weekend? And at David's party, you were, you know. Alex struggled to find the right words. You were smelling me, in front of other people. The silence that followed felt endless. Lisa stared at him, her mouth slightly open like she'd been caught doing something she didn't realize was obvious. I didn't think anyone would notice, she said quietly. People did notice, Lisa. My boss noticed. My friends noticed. Alex tried to keep his voice gentle. It made me feel really uncomfortable. Lisa pulled away from him then, moving to the other end of the couch. Her eyes were filling with tears, and Alex immediately felt terrible. I'm not trying to hurt your feelings, he said quickly. I just think we need to talk about this. You think I'm weird? Lisa said, her voice barely above a whisper. I don't think you're weird. I just think maybe this attraction to my scent has gotten a little out of hand. That's when Lisa broke down completely. The tears that had been threatening to fall came all at once, and she buried her face in her hands. Her shoulders shook as she cried, and Alex felt his heart breaking. Hey, he said, moving closer to her. Hey, it's okay. No, it's not okay, Lisa sobbed. You think I'm some kind of freak. I don't think that at all. Yes, you do, and you're right. Lisa wiped her eyes with the back of her hand. There's something wrong with me. Alex waited for her to calm down a little before speaking again. What do you mean? Lisa took several shaky breaths before answering. I have this thing, this condition. I've never told you about it because I was afraid you'd think I was crazy. What kind of condition? It's called hyperosmia. It means my sense of smell is way stronger than normal people's. Like way stronger. Lisa looked at him with red, puffy eyes. I can smell things that other people can't even detect. And certain smells, they affect me really intensely. Alex had never heard of hyperosmia, but it was starting to make sense. How intensely? Some smells make me feel sick. Some make me anxious. Some make me happy. Lisa's voice was getting steadier as she talked. And your scent. It makes me feel safe, calm, like everything's going to be okay. She paused, looking down at her hands. I know that sounds crazy. It doesn't sound crazy, Alex said, though. He was still processing everything she was telling him. There's more, Lisa continued. I've been struggling with anxiety for years, and depression. I take medication for it, but sometimes nothing helps except certain scents. Alex felt a wave of understanding wash over him. And my scent helps? Lisa nodded. It's like, you know how some people have a security blanket when they're kids? Or how some people keep a photo of someone they love to look at when they're stressed? Yeah, your scent is like that for me. When I'm having a bad day, or when I'm anxious about something, being close to you makes me feel better. Not just emotionally, but physically too. Alex was quiet for a moment, trying to process everything Lisa had told him. Is that why you've been taking my clothes? Lisa's face turned red again. You noticed that? I noticed my hoodie never came back, and my jacket, and I think some of my t-shirts have gone missing. I'm sorry, Lisa said, fresh tears starting to fall. I know it's wrong, when you're not here, and I'm having a hard time, having something that smells like you helps me get through it. How many of my things do you have? Lisa looked embarrassed. A few shirts, your jacket, a pillowcase. She paused. I keep one of your shirts in my car, and one at work in my desk drawer. Alex felt a mix of emotions. Sympathy for what Lisa was going through, but also concern about how far this had gone. Lisa, I want to help you feel better, but this has become a lot. I know, she said quickly. I know it has. I tried to stop, but then I'd have a bad day and I'd need you. Or something that smelled like you. Have you talked to anyone about this? Like a doctor or a therapist? Lisa shook her head. I've been too embarrassed. How do you tell? Someone that you're basically addicted to your boyfriend's scent? You're not addicted to my scent, Alex said. You're using it to cope with anxiety and depression. That's different. Is it? Lisa asked. Because it feels like an addiction. I think about it when you're not here. I plan my days around when I can see you. I've been showing up at your apartment without calling because I can't wait to smell you again. Hearing her say it out loud made Alex realize just how much Lisa had been struggling. This wasn't just about finding his scent attractive. It was about her mental health. The hyperosmia thing, Alex said. Is that something you've always had? Since I was little. My parents thought I was just being dramatic when I'd complain about certain smells making me feel sick. But as I got older, I realized I could smell things that other people couldn't. Like what? I can tell when milk is about to go bad days before the expiration date. I can smell if someone's getting sick before they even know it. I can tell what someone had for lunch hours after they ate it. Lisa managed a small smile. It's actually useful sometimes. But it's also overwhelming. Very, especially in crowded places. All those different scents mixing together. It can be too much. Lisa looked at him seriously. But your scent is different. It doesn't overwhelm me. It calms me down. Alex was beginning to understand the full picture now. Lisa wasn't just being clingy or possessive. She was dealing with a real medical condition and using his scent as a way to manage her anxiety and depression. Why didn't you tell me about this before? He asked. Because I was afraid you'd think I was using you, or that you'd feel like you couldn't be yourself around me. Lisa's voice got quiet again. And I was afraid you'd leave. I'm not going to leave, Alex said. But we need to figure out a better way to handle this, because what's been happening, it's not sustainable for either of us. Lisa nodded. I know. I've known for a while that it was getting out of hand. I just didn't know how to stop. They sat in silence for a few minutes, both processing everything that had been said. Alex felt relieved that they were finally talking openly about what had been happening, but he also felt overwhelmed by the complexity of the situation. So what do we do now? Lisa asked. I think you should talk to someone, a professional, about the anxiety and depression and about how you're using scent to cope. You think I need therapy? I think you deserve help. Real help. Not just relying on my scent to get through difficult times. Lisa considered this. What if therapy doesn't work? What if I can't stop needing this? Then we'll figure something out. But Lisa, you can't keep living like this. And I can't keep feeling like I'm responsible for your emotional well-being. You're right, Lisa said. I know you're right. I'm scared. Scared of what? Scared that if I don't need your scent anymore, I won't need you anymore either. Alex reached over and took her hand. Lisa, if the only reason you want to be with me is because of how I smell, then we have bigger problems than I thought. That's not the only reason, she said quickly. I care about you, a lot. But the scent thing, it's been such a big part of how I feel about you that I don't know what our relationship would look like without it. Maybe we should find out, Alex said gently. For the first time all evening, Lisa smiled. It was a small, uncertain smile, but it was genuine. Okay, she said. I'll look into finding someone to talk to. A therapist who understands anxiety and unusual coping mechanisms. And in the meantime, we need to set some boundaries. For both our sakes. What kind of boundaries? Alex thought about it. No more taking my clothes without asking. No more showing up here without calling first, and when we're in public, especially around my work people, we need to keep the physical affection at a normal level. Lisa nodded. I can do that, I think. It might be hard at first. I'll help you, Alex said, but Lisa, you have to want to change this pattern. I can't do it for you.